if we're live yet. Or now we're live.
Now we're live.
I think we're live. I want more applause.
I was like, I feel like you need a little boost.
I do. It's been a tiring morning. I need a
No.
little more crowd work.
Yeah.
Okay, today on Around the Workstand Daily, let's talk about the template publisher.
Yeah. Want to personalize your website a little bit?
Yeah, so the template publisher can be found in website and template publisher.
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose of it is multifold. So, first of all, is to choose one of our multiple templates. And so we can see actually, it's hard to see on my demo site because I have the premium theme on it. But this is the base template. This is called Henrietta. We all give them lovely names. But we could choose from Gabe or Francis or Inigo or Janet, these templates. And so this is where you would do that. And you can also, let's say maybe I like the idea Gabe. So I could click Gabe and get a preview of Gabe. Within that preview, I can, and we'll look at the theme editor in a bit, but I can go in and personalize some of the theme functions, as in the different headings and the fonts that are used and the size and the colors, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the opportunity to use a different navigator and a different banner or footer and even a different homepage. So in this way, if I wanted to make a big change from my current website, I could do all that work behind the scenes without disturbing the the thing everybody else sees, the world sees. And more importantly, them not seeing all the, process as I go along that way.
Nice.
And I can even use different custom CSS and JavaScript. And as long as I don't click this publish button and just use this my preview button, then it all stays good. Now it'll probably look funny again because the premium theme has some, well, it looks all right. But it could look funny because the premium theme has some CSS in it, like this little
A little
section down
funny,
here
yeah.
that's not playing nice. But in that way, I can set all this up, test it, work on it, and do all that behind the scenes before I publish a change and let the world see it. So that's how we could choose different templates. Now, within the template that I have chosen, we have this theme editor, and I can go into that and further personalize everything. So maybe I don't like that font, or I just want to try a different font. Then I've got a group of fonts I can use. And as I make those changes, you'll see them reflected in this preview.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I want that font to be a wee bit larger. And maybe I even want that font to be a different color. Now I'm going to pick a really poor color
Okay.
to make a point. And that point is that while we make these changes and we're personalizing things, so the Workstand platform does a lot to protect our users from making mistakes. And some of those mistakes fall into what's called accessibility. It's how websites are related to the Americans with Disability Act, the
Mm-hmm.
ADA. And so we want to make sure there's always good contrast between pieces and parts. And we've got good help center documentation on that, and even a little tool, this little contrast checker, that will let us put in these hex values and tell us if there's enough contrast between them, because we don't want to make it to where people with low vision can't make out the difference between colors and then therefore not see things. So that's
Yeah.
important.
And even if
And
you have, even, it's just a little unpleasant on the eyeball sometimes.
yes, yeah, yeah, that's true. Beyond the fact that we want to be accessible for everybody, it's
Mm-hmm.
just hard to look at some things. So, for instance, we don't want to do stuff like this.
Oh,
If we have these two colors in place, that's going to be really hard to on people's eyeballs. They're not going to like that. And we want it to be good. So in this general tab, you can affect things in the headings. That's these H1 tag type things.
mm-hmm.
And then in the body and the buttons, and then the divider line. So if you use divider lines like that, it's kind of hard to see, but it's very thin divider line there. So you could change the colors of the divider line
Yeah.
in there. And then there's another tab called sections, and that allows you to affect what's in the header, the main navigation, and the sub navigation and the footer separately. And so you don't have those things aren't all tied together. So that gives you a ton of flexibility when it comes down to making it special just for you. So
Mm-hmm.
use that and try and be thoughtful about, like Susie said, let's not make it hard to look at. Let's not have odd colors. but it gives you a lot of flexibility on personalizing that so that you can, in conjunction with uploading your own logo, of course, then you can really make the website reflect the physical store, any branding and colors that you've got in place to make sure it matches well.
Mhm. Yeah. If you're, I like to use, I think, use your logo, your brand colors as a guide for these. And if you need to make small modifications, like kind of if you have a green, maybe we use a little bit of a darker green, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, use this little tool for that kind of stuff. And there's all sorts of if you Google things like complementary colors. So
Hmm.
there's little tools where you could take your logo, put in a color or two, and have it generate some complementary colors, and then use those as the accents across it and make it look nice. And if you have questions about that, as usual, Client Success is happy to help with that. So is the agency. And then I think maybe the last little thing is we as a creative group, we design content from a mobile first perspective. And the reason we do that is that if we look across our platform, I haven't looked lately, but it's some 60 plus, close to 70% of the traffic coming through Workstand websites is coming on mobile devices. And so we always want to make sure that that content looks good on a mobile device. And I don't know if I could do that. I can't really do it in full screen, but that's why we put this little tool in here. So you can look at phone size, tablet size, and then desktop size. Now, unfortunately, my monitor is too small. It doesn't even get the desktop size at this point, but it's an excellent tool so that you can easily look at what you're doing. And this is in a lot of places. It's even over here in Page Editor.
Hmm.
So it's not as important at the theme editor line, but if you come over here to any other page, as you're in the editing mode, you'll see those same little tools, and so
Yeah.
you're able to look at what does that look like on a mobile device. So I pointed out just because I noticed it there, but it's important everywhere to make
Hmm.
sure that on all the different device sizes, or at least the three main different device sizes, that your content works and looks good in it. And that's just easier than having to, again, you don't want to have to publish it and then go look or use previews and try and get the preview URL on your phone. You can just use these little tools for that.
Hmm.
So that is Template Publisher, a kind of high level view of that. Oh, here's the one last thing. If you're handy with custom CSS, CSS is a cascading style sheet. It's what modern websites are designed with. So when you see this, the out front version of the site, the design of things, the colors and the way things sit on the page is controlled by these cascading style sheets. And so if you're handy with that, you can write your own custom CSS. We'll show you what some of it looks like if it's not minified. Let's see. So that's some custom CSS. I don't know what all that means, but if you know what it means, then this is where you can write that CSS, that custom code, to change the design of the site beyond what the templates that we have do.
Hmm.
And this is where you upload those, and it's easy enough to when you manage them. You can have files that are there but are not in use, and then these are the selected ones. So you just drag these across when you're ready for them, and then that shows up there. You can submit that change, which I'm not going to do because I don't know what that does, and I don't want to mess up my demo site any further than it is. I'll just put it back. And then you can do the same thing with JavaScript. So JavaScript, where CSS has to do with the look of the parts, JavaScript we often use when we want to put the parts in different places. And so if you want to change a block from, what these standard blocks might be to something that's like on here, where it's got these little rounded corners, we don't actually have a block with rounded corners in the tool set. But if you're handy with CSS, you can affect that. And then if you want this block to be sitting somewhere else or have a larger image and a smaller area for copy, a lot of times that's where script can come in, where you can rearrange the parts of things. So if you're handy with that, you can do that here. We don't support that code. So if you write that code, that's you. And our support team can't possibly be charged with keeping up with everybody's custom code. So it is on you, but this is where you put that stuff if you're handy with that. And if you're not handy with it, you know who is handy with it? Us, our marketing
Not
agency. Not
Us.
us. No, I can't do it. But us, as in the Workstand marketing team, they're very good at it. We've got front end developers and strategists and graphic designers who can come up with all this stuff. So again,
Yeah,
we talked about this before, but we've got the premium themes where we've pre-done some of that design work, but we also do a bunch of full custom projects every year where whatever your dream is for the design of your website, we can make that happen. So
yeah.
I think that's a pretty decent
Yeah.
tour.
I
And
think
just
my
remember, as long as you don't save changes or publish changes, you can my preview your way around there and not hurt anything. But if you
yeah.
click save changes, well, then the world's going to probably see all that.
Yeah, I think my only final note is just kind of keep it simple. We don't, I think when in doubt, we don't need a ton of font colors and font sizes and font styles. Keep it simple.
I agree. But
Yeah.
it's worth looking at and
Yes.
personalizing so that it feels more like you in your store.
100%.
There you go. All right.
Cool.
Well, we'll see you some other day.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Where is my cursor?